G'day, everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome to another episode of No Guts, No Glory.
Yes.
Sonny Jack the Band.
Mance?
It's Sunday morning here, mate. Sunday morning. I've just rolled out of church. You know I go to church, right?
Do you?
Fucking hardcore, man. I'm a hardcore church, yeah. I've got my own personal church going on.
Kind is it?
Right in here. Right in my mind, mate.
Nice. Do you pass around the collection plate?
No, you know, in all seriousness, I know we're kind of digressing, but I did actually, there was a stage where I went through this long spiritual, trying to fucking go through this whole spiritual existential thing, and there was a church I used to go to called St Martin's in Collingwood. It's opposite the Housing Commission flats in Collingwood there.
Yep.
And they've actually got a motorcycle club which is structured like, you know, your bikey kind of situation, although these guys are, they're rough and tough with the leathers, and you got to nom up, and you associate, you nom up, you go. It's exactly the same way, but these guys go out and, but rather than have knuckle dusters or anything like that, they carry Bibles around.
Cool. Well.
and they minister to like the 1% clubs and people, and it was an awesome church, man. I mean, you like it. They espouse the real Christian values of we love everyone, we don't give a fuck where you're from, and you'd have a service, and you'd have people come in, drunks, drug addicts, all the people that Jesus used to hang out with according to the handbook, that they were the most congruent, as opposed to, your kind of other kind of more corporate churches where it's a bit like an Amway meeting, and I've been to a couple of those in the past, and I get this look of like, what fucking planet did you arrive from? Cunt,
yeah,
fuck off. You're not our kind of Christian. But anyway, we digress. But anyway, good to see you, Benno. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to see you as well,
mate. You just got back from New York.
Yep.
Did a quick whirlwind trip. What did you do? How did it go? And
it was good. I was over in New York, in the city for about a week, then caught the bus down to DC. Was there for 4 days, and then back up.
You caught a bus to DC from after travelling to New York after 48,000 fucking hours of flying?
Yep.
You're bad, man. You're bad. Go on.
And then was down in DC for 4 days. Then went back up to New York for another 5 or 6 days or so, and then back here. So,
got him in DC. Did you go and see Trump and fucking...
Well, we saw Trump got booed. We went down to for the World Series, so we're following baseball, really.
Okay, right.
So went down, saw Nationals lose their 3 home games. Saw the Yankees lose from the Bronx. Every team, everywhere we went, we just seemed to fucking bring the losing streak with us. But that's okay. Caught up with our music publisher over there. Snuck in a bit of business, but predominantly just getting the fuck out of Melbourne, refresh the head a bit. Yeah, how have you been,
mate? Good. Had a good week, actually. Had a good week. Went away, did a couple of talks. One up was up in Sydney, putting together this first mastering panel. I just wanted to do something to take away all the mystery around mastering and dispel a lot of the myths around it, and showcase it to people, and so that they can see it as a viable thing that they could enter into, because most kids that go into audio school generally want to be producers and engineers, and because that's what they know and that's what they see, and that's what gets more profile, and there's also more prestige and notoriety and what have you around that. And so I just wanted to lift the lid off the whole black art myth of mastering and tell kids, you know what, this is a really good thing that you could get into straight in, because there's plenty of room for people to come into the ecosystem and do their thing. So that was great, and it was good to sit around with some other engineers who are all friends, and I also wanted to show people that there was this real camaraderie amongst us, irrespective of the fact that we all work in different markets, and people have this. People still look at competition a very wrong way, and you are out doing your own thing, and of course there's a certain amount of dollars out there, and people are competing, I guess, for that dollar. But I just wanted people to see that there's friendliness and there's respect and there's love amongst us, and that we all get along and we're all here to help each other out, and no one is fearful of the other guy, cocking their leg and pissing in their fucking yard, none of that shit was going on. Because I talk about that a lot, but it's like with anything. Yeah, it's all good to talk a good game, but you got to be able to demonstrate that and show that. And it was a good opportunity for people to see that. Look, this is why one of the reasons why we're successful is because we're all doing our thing, but by the same token, we still will help each other out when needed, and we'll support each other, and there's no undermining or any undercutting of anyone or anything like that. Everyone's very respectful of everyone's situation. So that was really good. Got to speak up at the Grove Scott Horsecross School, which I really loved. Great bunch of kids, great model for a school because a lot of formal education now, a lot of magnificently equipped studios with the gear that people are going to probably find out there in the quote unquote real world. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I really love about the Grove is that it's an actual working studio. So when the students are in there and they're sitting in there, there's real shit going on. There's no, look, you fucked up, Apple Z. I don't know what the PC equivalent is. You can't undo things. It's no like take 2, take 3. You are operating with no safety net, and that is reality.
Cool.
So for me, the kids that come out of that place are probably exceedingly well equipped to deal with the realities of what goes on out there. It's great to have your theoretical knowledge and the technical knowledge and know how a compressor works and what an EQ is and how to set up a mic and all that. But when it comes to the situational awareness you need to be in a session, the communication skills you need to be in a session to deal with clients, and that's whether you're working out of a place or in your own. Really, really important things to know, and textbooks can't teach you that kind of shit.
Definitely.
So that was really good. Went up to Cairns just to offload a bit with my lovely wife Connie. We went up to Cairns and we just sat by, found this beachfront place in Holloway's Beach, and we just sat there and we did fuck all. We did absolutely fuck all for the most part, and I'm very good at it, Ben, and I want to do more of it. I want to specialise in that shit. I want to turn that into an art form, and doing fuck all becoming the new entrepreneurship. So that's
nice. It's got to be done every now and then.
Oh, it's important, man. Everyone wants to work and everyone wants to work hard and it's great. And I think there's going to be space, particularly when you're starting out. You are going to be doing some mega hours. You're going to be doing some incredibly long stretches of doing some fucking hardcore work, and you know it. And just to give you an example of that, when I came back in 91 and was trying to start up my thing, I was, just to give, like the first 3 or 4 years of life, I probably averaged 4 hours of sleep, maybe 5 a night. And I was doing close to, if not 7, close to 7 days a week. So trying to build a business, so there was, I was working at Triple M doing midnight to dawn shifts. I was working at K-Rock in Geelong doing midnight to dawn shifts. I was working in a strip club for 5 days a week doing lunchtime and evening sessions. I was also working at the Virgin Megastore in Burke Street as in-store DJ. And a lot of this, interestingly, a lot of that activity was happening on the corner of Burke and Russell Street in the city. So that corner, there was Triple M, there was and there was Santa Fe. So they were my two, Triple M, Virgin Megastore and Santa Fe, all within a literal stone's throw of each other. So I don't know how that happened, but it just did. And so at the time I didn't have a car, so I had to get up in the morning, tram into the city, walk up Burke Street to one of these gigs, tram back to home, get a couple of hours sleep, tram back in, do an all-nighter, tram back in for a couple of hours sleep, tram back. And that was my life for however long until such time as I was able to get enough. But and that's all good and that's all necessary. But I think that at some point, once you get into your mode of whether it's the critical mass you build in your business or you're just finding that you can actually take your foot off the pedal a bit. You've got to take some time out, and we forget to do that. And we do, because for most of us, it's because we love what we do. We don't see our world as work in the traditional sense of, I've got a 9 to 5, I clock on, I clock off, or maybe do some overtime if I'm lucky, and away I go. We're looking forward to the weekend. We're looking forward to the public holidays. We get those times off because we look forward to them. more often than not because we don't like our job. And we're in the complete opposite, whereas we don't give a fuck if it's Monday, if it's Sunday, if it's a public holiday.
Makes no difference.
It makes no difference. I mean, and not even because of the fact that we earn the same. It's just we just don't care because we are in a very fortunate group of people that get to do what we love to do. Having said that, as I've gotten older, I've realised that, burnout's a real thing. You don't realise you're burning out. It's like that boiling frog syndrome. For those who don't understand what that is, it's you put a frog in a pot of cold water and you apply heat to it. That frog won't realise that it's getting hotter and hotter until it's too late and it'll die from being overheated. So it's the same thing for us. Things build and build and build and build. We're not aware of the tension. We're not aware of the stress. And next thing you know, boom, you're having a freak out. You're having a breakdown. You're having a meltdown. You're boozing up, you're drugging up, you're doing whatever. So it's important that we take time out. And
definitely. I think one thing that you mentioned before that, let's touch on that. In startup, when you're in startup, if you're starting a business or at the start of your career, you're going to be doing a lot of fucking work. There's always more hours, but that's just the definition of startup. You have to do a great deal of work and energy to get to a point of sustainability where you can back off, where you have momentum. So during that startup period, it's definitely important to recognize that you're in startup. The hours you're doing then, they're not going to be forever, but it's needed to get to a point of fucking momentum. And then definitely when you do see that sense of, okay, cool, you've got your systems are in place, whether it's a business or whether it's an artist career, whatever it is, once you do hit that kind of, plateau of where things are, that you're cruising, definitely finding time for some self-care, whether it's meditation or having an actual fucking holiday and going somewhere is, super important.
Couldn't agree anymore, my friend. So, it's not counterproductive. People think, well, if I'm not here, if I'm not actually working, if I'm not grinding, whatever you want to call it, it actually can be counterproductive. Mm-hmm. So we think so much in these linear straight lines. We're going from point A to point B. So the more I do, the more I start the coal face. It's going to actually have dividends, but sometimes you may get to a point where you get so burnt out where you can't do fuck all, and then all of a sudden it's a forced situation, and it's not an enjoyable taking time off because you're not actually taking time off to enjoy yourself. You're taking time off to actually heal, to get over whatever it is that's you've been overwhelmed with. Trying to put out other fires away from your actual work, and it doesn't really become a break as such. So again, that just comes down to all important awareness thing. But can I just I just wanted to, this week, if we could, mate. I had some people come up during the week, a couple of different mentees to talking about, again, young guys who are starting their own thing, and I wanted to touch on a bit on business ethics, and. Business ethics is something that people would go, duh, we need to be ethical. Of course we do. But I think sometimes people don't understand. We're taking a slightly deeper look at this, and specifically I want to talk about the ethical side of the work you take on, and the reason why you take on the work in the first place. And so let me just give you the two examples of what I'm talking about. So I had one young guy come up to me and telling me he had an opportunity to do a job. It was a really good paying job. It was very first big paying job for them. But they kind of knew that the stuff wasn't all that great. But because that person I was dealing with was completely unaware of what they were doing, they were ignorant to, shall we say. And so he just thought, you know what? He was justifying it by saying, well, buyer beware, who should know better? But we all learn somehow. It's still going to be work. It's still going to be good. It wasn't going to be great, but it was still subjectively going to be something better. And I said to him, look, mate, you can do that. I wouldn't do it myself because here's the thing. You take on a job knowing that you're not going to really you're only going to be doing 70% or 80% of what potentially you could. Yeah, sure, you'll deal with someone and they're ignorant. You take their money and you cash up, and that's really great. It's your first relatively big paying gig. And someone goes off but eventually you're going to come across someone that does know.
Correct.
Or that client will walk away with that finished product and play it to someone that does know. And then you're fucked.
Yes, correct.
I understand it's very tempting to want to make money, And if you've been struggling for a long time and all of a sudden, wow, a big paying job is going to come in, your first big paying gig, don't be tempted by the money.
Yep,
It's,
definitely.
Your money comes as a result of the value you bring. And if you can't give, and sometimes that value lies in the fact that you don't do the job, or that you at least stop and just go, hang on a minute, we're not quite ready yet to do this. Let's take a step backwards or a step sideways. And that may even mean you don't even do it at all, but the goodwill you create.
Hugely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And again, like, just being transparent in that. Say if someone, let's just use video as an example. Say someone came to me and hired me to do a video clip for them or whatever. Say they go, okay, cool, here's X amount. If I felt like I couldn't deliver that, you're going to know that before you take on the job. You're like, fuck, I think this is a little bit out of my depth. If you have that conversation up front, you're like, hey man, this is what I've done in the past. I'm gonna air this out to you initially. This might be a little bit out of my league, but I'm happy to fucking give it a go. I'm happy to put in the hours, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, everyone's now on the same page. It's a completely different kettle of fish as if you're going, yep, cool, let's take the fucking money and I'll do it and I'll hope that fucking I can pull the wool over his eyes and he's happy. And just having that layer of transparency is huge in the client. Working with the client just means they're actually going to trust you in what you're doing. And the other thing is, even if you take on a job that you can't deliver on, negative tactics will win in the short term. You can take on a big job and get fucking paid and deliver a fucking shit product, but you're not going to have repeat customers. You're not going to build an actual brand. You're not going to build fucking legacy. You're not going to have ongoing work. So negative tactics will win and can win in the short term, but they don't fucking last. You're not going to be doing it for fucking 10 years and you're not going to have a fucking job and a career in that industry that you actually want.
Oh, yeah, without doubt. And the other one was, if you're not prepared, I mean, I know it's not as relevant these days with the fact that in the digital world there aren't credits. These days it's us engineers basically have to, unless a band decide to tag you in a post or credit you, most engineers now have to kind of toot their own horn to let people know, hey, I've been working on this or I've been working on that. But when CDs and physical product was a bigger deal, engineers who would, and this other guy, basically, it was an album and he really wasn't into it at all. He really couldn't stand it. He didn't like the sound of it. He just didn't. But he basically said to him, I'll do the job, no problem. I said, but would you just don't mind put my name on it? No. Now, to me, that is the greatest fucking insult you could give to an artist or a client.
Fucking oath.
I'll take your money.
Yeah.
You're good enough I love you enough to take your money,
but don't tell anyone.
I want nothing to do with you. A big part of our job, and this is, you, Ben, or irrespective of whether, you're recording, mixing, mastering engineer, you're a video person, whatever it is, a big part of the job doesn't end when money exchanges hands for the finished product. Your job continues on in the sense of, you are a PR person for your artist. Often I find, people come to my studio and say, hey, check someone out, and whether it's to another musician or someone of influence, it doesn't matter. But you're there spruiking for your clients because their success is ultimately yours. Mm-hmm. And so why wouldn't you be proud of the work that you do? Why wouldn't you want to showcase your stuff to people that you work with?
Definitely.
And I think it's important, and people forget that sometimes, that the job doesn't end when the money changes hands. You have a responsibility to help your client because it also helps your cause. Their success is yours. End of story. Mm-hmm. So,
but I think, and that's the difference between, and this is just in any business, that's the difference between business owners who actually give a fuck and someone who's just out there to fucking take money and go. Like in any industry, whether you're in a fucking restaurant industry, in a cafe, like if you're always looking out for the client or the person you serve past the point when money exchanges hands, you're in a much better position to build a fucking bigger and better brand, company, business, whatever the fuck it is.
And I'll tell you, if you want to build goodwill, which is the best fucking social media out there, that is the way to do it. You continue on working for your client after the money changes hands. So, and I think that also comes down to part of your ethics as well. It's good ethics to do that. Don't look at dollar signs over people when they walk in the door. Mm-hmm. The minute you do that, people are going to see that. They're going to sense that. And that's whether it's in the way you email people, the way you talk to them over the phone, or in the face-to-face interaction. People sense that. So forget about the money. Of course, you will get paid, and it's about money, and we need all that. But take your focus away from the understanding that that's going to be an automatic byproduct of what you do on the front end.
Yep.
And you do that well, and you do that, and you on the back end as well. because then it opens up a channel for more opportunity, for more clientele, for more leads, for more jobs to come in, which then, guess what, brings more money, and it exponentially grows. So be ethical, kids.
Yep.
I know it sounds like it's a very obvious thing to do, but have it first and forefront in your mind. Your character's who you are. Your reputation is what people think you are. Make sure that if you have a good reputation out there, you want people to come and deal with you, and you want your character to exceed their perception of who you are, let alone match it.
Yeah,
and that's just going to hold you in good stead, way more than anything else.
Definitely. And then, so even on that, I think you're right, these are super obvious fucking statements of be ethical in your fucking business. And everyone, I think, would agree with them on the surface, but something seems to happen when actual real figures start getting thrown around. When there's big money involved, suddenly people are like, ooh, hold on. Then it's fucking put to the test whether they really believe what they're saying, or if they just agree with it on the surface. Yeah, cool, let's be ethical. But then once dollars get thrown around, it exposes people in their true light. So it's definitely when fucking checks do start coming in, whether you are working in a fucking your business, whatever it is, once the money comes in, it's just remembering to fucking stick to that. The good work that you did to get to that position is what you need to get to the next one. And then another part of it is, I've just gone completely blank.
That's okay. Let me just tell you one thing, if I may.
Yep.
They say that money changes people. I don't think it changes people so much as it reveals who you are.
Yep, correct. 100%. Definitely.
Absolutely.
It doesn't change you, it just exposes you.
It just reveals more of who you are. And I've seen it happen, kids, I'll tell you. I know a lot of people who I've seen grow from nothing into, big businesses, big brands, done extremely well. And the people that I remembered as being good guys and gals, for that matter, who were cool as fuck, just ended up being the same cool people. They just had more options to play with and had a bigger decision base, and could enjoy certain luxuries and play in a different playing field. But the ones that kind of were always a bit shystery just ended up being bigger shysters.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
And it was clear to see.
Yep.
Money doesn't change, it just reveals more of who you actually are.
Yep.
It just amplifies that.
Yep.
So did you get back to that point you forgot about?
I sure did. And even on that, chasing money. So money is a symptom, it's a byproduct of giving other people value. People who chase money, if their constant objective and what they want to do when they wake up is collect money, that's when these are the people who are more likely to verge on the unethical side of business. People, if you wake up in your business, whether it's an artist career or a studio, whatever it is, if your goal is to bring value to as many people as you can, if you really fucking thinking, shit, all right, this client came in, they did this and this, fuck, I know if I was in their position that this would help their situation. If you're really out to help them, to bring value to other people, money will come. Money is a symptom, it's a byproduct of giving other people value. So I think chasing that as an objective. How can I help as many people with my services, with my studio, with my brand? How can I help as many people as I can? And really being able to put yourself in their shoes and doing everything, whether it's fucking paid for or it's extra, doing everything so that they walk away happy is just going to generate money. That's how money comes in.
Yep. I like it, mate. So this leads me to the other topic I wanted to delve into this week, which is the idea of training and improving yourself, and workshops and seminars and all that kind of stuff, books and whatever. So because you're heading off to Sydney, to do your thing with Cohen Ray.
Yep, Nail and Scale It event.
So you want to tell people a bit about him and what he's all about?
Yeah, so he's pretty much just a business coach, business consultant, I guess you'd call it. But yeah, upskilling yourself is definitely something that me and the guys here hugely believe in. It's on our schedules each weekly to upskill, whether that's if you're a mix engineer and you going and studying how other fucking mix engineers do. What do they do in this song? Or if you're a business owner and you want, cool, I need to upgrade my fucking business skills. Let's go and read some books. Let's go to a seminar. Everyone's done it before. Everyone's done essentially everything prior, you can go and study, guys. You can look at people like fucking Steve Jobs. You can look at how they built businesses. You can see what worked for them. How can you implement that into your business? You can look at what other artists have done. Cool. How did they get this sort of traction on this social media? What did this artist do behind the scenes? How did they get all this? You can go and study what people have done, pull it in. You'll never fully replicate or copy someone because it's always going to have your own taste on it and your own little spin. But yeah, upskilling is something that should just be continually done forever till you fucking kick the bucket. I mean, we're just getting good at stuff that we like doing. Athletes always fucking go to training. Business owners should constantly be going to fucking training as well.
Yeah, agreed. Dude, I'm 56 and I still am doing online courses and I'm in no way, shape or form a personal development junkie. I don't go to a million seminars a year, but I find that I always do like to learn. And when I do, as my wife Connie would say, flister and fluster online, most of that flistering and flustering, apart from talking to people and, wasting time and being, just a complete fucking distraction, she's right. I do flister and fluster. I love you. But a lot of it is just trying to get information. I'm for the most part, my diet, if you will, of online viewing, apart from the aimless scrolling, flistering and flustering, is to find some positive input from people, is to look at a good podcast, to, whether it's on a person that's someone who I admire or someone that's done something great, or it'll be, and it's not always music related. It doesn't always have to be about studios and stuff like that.
100%.
Quite often I'm fascinated on what makes people tick and what is it that makes them who they are and operate the way they do. And particularly people that have an inspiring story to tell, who've come from nothing. Even better than that, people that come from nothing, lost it all, and then regained it again. They're the people I'm especially interested in because, one of the reasons I'm undertaking a speaking career alongside my mastering, which will never leave me, that'll always be there and that's not going anywhere, is part of it is it's a passion for what it is, but it's also my way of trying to prove to myself that my success, if you will, as a mastering engineer wasn't just a fluke. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just didn't kind of happen, it wasn't just a hobby that got this malignancy and grew into this thing called a business that is doing all right. It's like, can I do it again? Yep. It's like a champion fighter can win a title, but if you lose your title and regain it, or, you know what I mean? Or then you're a fucking champion.
There's a cool dude, Justin Dry. He founded Vino Mofo. Check out his story.
Yeah?
Yeah, yep, super good. Again, I mean, to that fucking build it was worth a fucking butt ton super early. Lost it all. He talks openly about it, and then fucking built Vino Mofo, built another thing.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't. But you piqued my curiosity, so send me the link.
Yeah, done. I will.
And maybe that's something we can put up on the site as well. These are great things, man. For people to see that, and people that are believable, because they're no different to you. Sometimes you see people in the personal development world that are, it's like, well, I made my first fucking trillion the minute I was conceived. You know,
there's a lot of fucking bullshit in that world as well.
Absolutely, and it's a lot about showing the successes and all the trappings. And here I am with my fucking Lamborghini, whether it's hired or not, or what have you. Whereas I think it's more believable. To the average kid out there who's watching something, it's relatable when they can hear or see someone that is just like them, that will talk about the failings and the disappointments and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I like to see that kind of stuff, and I consider that lucidly as a kind of training or research, if you will.
Definitely.
Because I always find a little nugget in there that's helpful, and sometimes you see something that it may inspire me out of a rut, because like anyone else, I have my days where I don't feel inspired, I feel like shit. I don't want to do anything, and negative talk can creep into me. So if I can have enough awareness to go, you know what, okay, maybe I'm not going to do anything productive in terms of hands-on work today. I won't do any writing, or I won't do any marketing. I won't. But maybe I'll, rather than sit and mope about it, let me try and G myself up with something else.
Something else, definitely. And I think with the access to the internet, there's really no excuse for people not to be able to find something, whether that's for personal development, for business development. There's just really no excuse these days. Like,
Absolutely not.
You can listen to podcasts, you can watch fucking videos, you can read shit. However you consume information, there is so much good information out there. And yeah, part of it is being able to decipher through the bullshit and what's fucking good advice and what's not, and who's full of shit and who's fucking real. But the amount of information and people we have access to now is so great and so fucking awesome that, yeah, artists, business owners, whoever it is, constantly be upskilling yourself, looking for ways to improve your systems, looking for ways to improve you, listening to other people. There is that.
Listening to us.
Yeah, because there's just, even if it's that one fucking nugget where you're like, fuck, now that makes sense. Or just hearing about how someone else engaged with a client and you go, fuck, that is what's happening with me. And you go, cool, that's a potential outcome. Like there's just so much information, and it's a lot of, especially in the creative industries, a lot of artists early on, the first 3 or 4 years, they do a lot of stuff on their own. It's a lot of solo learning from YouTube, everything, which is great. But the engaging with other people is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Talking to other people, because it just tests your theories. If everything's like by going to seminars or conferences, you know, if you can go and talk about your career, your business to 100 other fucking people in that field, that's just going to test whether your systems are right. You just and if there's not, it's fine to go and improve things along the way. Everything's going to be improving. Yeah. But there's definitely for artists in the first 3 or 4 years, I see a lot of them working solo, alone, in their fucking bedrooms, alone. And I think getting out and engaging with other people is just a great way to fucking, you know, keep yourself sane and happy.
Absolutely. One thing though that I want to highlight, which is, it's all good to do the training, but one of the things I see a lot of is that with the times that we're living in, where we have an embarrassment of riches to choose from, most of it fucking free as well, and just on this fucking thing in your hand.
Yep.
Smartphone for those who are listening and not watching. It amazes me how there are people that don't do fuck all about it though. They got the golden diamond right at their feet, and yet they'll do fuck all about it, and they still won't do anything. It's like the proverbial lead the horse to water. You can't make a dream. And as one of my mentors, Craig Harp, would say, and he's right. He said, you know, transformation happens in the application of the information. We have a generation of people who are probably the most well informed that there's ever been in history.
Yep.
And yet, how many people actually apply themselves and use that knowledge, or when does that knowledge become wisdom, and they put it into use? And what I see is a lot of fucking smart people out there who are well informed, well read, webinared up to the arseholes. They've been to every fucking corporate event and every workshop and every panel and everything. Yep. And yet they're still fucking stagnant. And they just don't know. They just, you know, they claim they don't know how, and yet they know how. They've been told a million times in a million different ways, but they just, for whatever reason, they have this fear to pull the trigger or take the risk or do whatever it is. And, you know, everyone's waiting for the next thing. Oh, yeah, but I'm going to wait till I do that course, because when I get that course, and I'm going to fucking know the secrets, and then I'll be able to do it. And it's an excuse. It's just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And, you know, I'm the least well-read person on the fucking, probably on the planet. I mean, I'm not illiterate, but I've read 17 books. Half of those books I read because they were friends of mine, out of obligation, because I didn't want to get caught out one day in case they asked me a question, and I didn't want to embarrass myself in case I couldn't. You know what I mean? In case, what part of the book did you like? It's true. It's true. I read a lot. People think, oh, you're so fucking well read. I've read fuck all books, mate. Really. I read a lot of blogs. I consume information in many different ways, and that's why maybe it gives the illusion that I'm fucking smart to people. But no, I am smart. I'm a smart motherfucker, but not in the traditional sense of your literate book smart kind of dude. It's just a different kind of smart. Yeah. It's smart nonetheless. But mate, you know, to me though, all that is good and fine and dandy, but it really just comes down to, like, you know, what do you apply and what do you do? You know, what do you do with what you got?
Yep.
You know, and the most successful people I've met aren't necessarily the smartest that can quote chapter and verse of, you know, the various philosophers and authors and books and all that sort of shit. They just get on with it, mate.
Yep.
You know? They just kind of know what works and what doesn't work, and it's a numbers game. And there's no secret sauce. There's no skeleton key. There's no panacea to any of this. You know, knowledge is power and it's all good, but until you actually get off your ass and pull your finger out, do the work, fuck up, rinse and repeat.
Yep.
And eventually you'll find your groove, and that's where the dividends are.
Yep.
You know?
And being transparent through that journey. I think a lot of people, they're resistant to start fucking up and learn because they're like, fuck, I've got to be good straight away. You don't. But being transparent to whoever you're working with, whether it's, hey man, I'm learning or I'm starting out, fuck, now that journey just gets a whole lot easier because you've taken this fucking bullshit expectation out of your own actions. And you go, hey, guess what? Cool, I fucked up. But sweet, I'm new. Even you look at it this way, if you say an artist or a business owner, if you start a business and you go, cool, I've got a fucking 10-year plan where in 10 years I want to be here. If you fuck up for the first 2 years, guess what? You still got fucking 8 years to go. If in your head you're like, fuck, I'm a business owner, I've got to be fucking this, and I'm fucked up for the first 2 years and it's a fucking shit fight. Just by that mindset that you put around it, the same fucking thing has happened to very different outcomes and two very different fucking ways of seeing that. Yeah. And even on that, one, again, as you said, with that smartphone and the amount of information available, this is a great one that fucking I hear all the time, is artists, hip-hop artists, rappers coming through going, hey, I'm a fucking rapper, but I don't have any beats. The fucking internet is full of producers putting beats out there for free. And if ever I hear, where do I get in beats? I don't have any fucking beats. The internet is the fucking wild west of beats out there. There are so many producers. In fact, we will look back at this time with producers out there leasing beats. The fact that you can lease beats now, it's fucking retarded. That wasn't around 5 years ago. Like the amount of beats and instrumentals in the system on the internet for free from producers around the world, it blows my mind when rappers go, oh man, fuck, I don't have any beats, and producers to work with. Fuck, dude, type it into Google. Type free beats into Google. Your fucking phone will blow up with options. But again, it's like, what are they doing? Like, are you sitting waiting for fucking a beat to walk in or a producer to walk into your fucking room? Like, and to me, that's common sense. If I'm like, fuck, I need something, what am I going to do? Let's ask Google.
Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. Well, look, kids today, look, they're born into a world where they're used to everything being on demand and quick and, it just sort of pops up. And so this is not me bashing on young kids, but, people of my generation want to bash on the young kids today. And I think what they forget is that they're the people that created the world that brought the kids into.
Fucking right. They're the ones who raised them.
So
they're the ones who gave them all a fucking participation medal.
Mate, you created the circus, so don't fucking blame the monkeys that you brought into it, mate.
Exactly right.
All right. But having said that, it doesn't mean that we still can't teach them tricks.
Correct. But I think, and part of it is just, it doesn't have to be a fucking negative or a assertive way, but it's just some common sense, like, hey, cool, if you need fucking, let's ask the internet, let's ask fucking Google, what have you done to rectify the current situation? Cool, did that work? Yes or no? No? All right, cool, well then let's adjust. And it's just like spelling that, because people, again, they know what to do, and in fact, when you give them the map, when you tell them, hey, this is what once they see that, it makes perfect sense. They're like, oh, cool, I can see that. But there's just something about just that initiating of the action going, cool, all right, let's take some fucking steps here. Let's take it one step at a time, day in, day out. Let's go towards our fucking goal.
Yeah. I think the most important thing you can give a kid now is just them, letting them know that you believe in them. As a mentor to a lot of kids, that's what I find. I find that, yes, there's a lot of kids that aren't applying themselves, but thankfully there's enough out there that do, and I tend to deal with the ones that show me the initiative. And I don't find it takes a lot these days. Honestly, as a mentor, I find my job is really just to sit back and be a sounding board and just allow them. They generally solve their own shit just by talking outward, and then once they hear themselves, or occasionally you might just go, whoa, what did you just say then? And then get them to repeat what they said and ask them to look at it in a different way and maybe help them a little bit so they can help them see what they said or why they said what they said. And then before you know it, they kind of work it out themselves. Yep. If you know what I mean. Definitely. But the most important thing you can do for a kid is to have them believe that you believe in them, and you believe in them more than they do until they start believing in themselves as much as you did. Yep. Yeah. And once they get to that point, then they're off and running. You're a classic case of that. You're a kid that when I met you, when I first met you the very first time, you came up to me after my talk at NMIT, as
Yep.
it was known back then, and you had a CD and you played it to me and said, "Hey man, thanks for the talk. I'm in a little rap group. This is the CD I've done. Check it out." You didn't make any excuses about it. You also, when you gave it to me, the other reason I wanted to listen to it is because you didn't say to me, "Oh, listen, man, we're just a bunch of young kids and we've got no money," and you just said, "Here it is," just straight up. And I thought, and I went to my car and I played it straight away, and I got in touch with you within the next day or two.
Yeah.
And it started from there, and so I had reason to believe in you and you also believed in yourself because you told me back then it was like a prophecy. We've got these plans. We're going to get a warehouse. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And fuck me, man, you did. Here we are. We're in the building right now. It's exactly like I said. It was prophetic, And they're the kind of people I want to help. They're the people I'm obligated to help. But it's easy. It's easy to help people like that. And thankfully, in my world, there are enough kids. There's just the kids who struggle and they have their issues, and as we all do. But the ones that I tend to gravitate more towards are the ones who come to me and they, who show genuine initiative, who don't make excuses for their stuff, and they're the ones that I can really truly believe in. So when I can truly believe in you and tell you, "Hey man, I believe in you. I know you're going to make it," and then that kid gets that. I know in my life, man. When senior engineers who didn't know me from a bar of shit actually told me that I believe in you and you can do it, they had no reason to piss in my pocket.
Yep.
So when and kids these days have the most sensitive bullshit meters anywhere.
Yep.
And they know, man. So when they know and they're feeling you that you're telling them that you've got potential, you've got something, I believe in you, and they know it's to be true, that's fuel, man. That's that is nuclear fission right there. And that can set a kid right off, I know it set me right off. So who's to say it's not going to set someone else off?
100%. And even that was the exact same as what it was for me. Having that when you first called me, and then when you went on to mentor me, like just knowing someone in the industry backing you, going, "Fuck, dude, you're on the track. Keep going." That's enough. That's enough to keep fucking going, to believe in yourself, because it is that's sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important and the greatest thing you can do for a kid. So listen, mate, you're the one usually winding up, but I think we've had a good roll, and you got a plane to catch soon. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to get to the airport, but No Guts, No Glory podcast. If anyone has any questions, topics they want us to cover, they can hit it up on Instagram, Facebook. You can get in touch, No Guts, No Glory podcast @gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Any last messages there, Tones?
No, man. Just love you guys. Thanks for the support, all the love online. We do this as an excuse to catch up with each other, and it's fun. And we don't know where it's going to go, but hopefully we'll get more people getting on board and liking it. I don't have any preconceived ideas that this is going to have 3 billion subscribers. But if we do, why not? I mean, I'm open to it. But the important thing for me is that we hopefully in a world where there's so much stuff out there and it's hard to swim through everything, but hopefully, for us, it's about if we can just put out some good, honest input that comes from a real place and that is based on real-world experience, subjective as it is, that you guys will get something out of it, and it works. And it's a Sunday today for the record, and here we are, Sunday morning, doing this thing, not giving a fuck that it's Sunday morning because, it's about you guys, and I love doing this, and as I said, it's just an excuse to come and hang out with Ben, put some knowledge out there, drop a little science, and hopefully you kids get something out of it. And if you do, that's wonderful. If not, at least I've come here, caught up with you, and we've had a good little shit talk as we normally do, and
perfect,
which is win in my view anyway. So that's all I got to say. I love you fuckers. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Be well.
Be well, as I say, we say. Be nice to each other, but more importantly, be nice to yourselves. We love you. We'll see you on the next one.
Done. See ya.